Number 2, factors for 9, 1, 3, and 9. So my greatest common factor for 9 and 90Q is 9, because 9 will divide into 90 evenly. And of course it divides into itself evenly. So I'm going to put the 9 outside the parentheses. I have one operation symbol. I have one variable, so that's going to come down. Because it's to the right of the operation symbol, I'm going to put it to the right of the operation symbol down here. Now I ask myself, 9 times what number gives me 9? That's 1. 9 times what number gives me 90? That's 10. So I check myself to see when I distribute this, do I indeed get the expression back above? 9 times 1 gives me 9. That works. 9 times 10Q gives me 90Q. That works. Done with that one. I'm going to change this to an addition sign and this to a subtraction sign. I have one sign, so I'm going to bring my sign down. I have a variable p. Now I have to ask myself, what's the greatest common factor of 99 and 27? 27 is smaller than 99, so I'm going to list my factors of 27. 1 and 27, and 3 and 9. Those are the only factors for 27. Start with the largest factor and ask yourself, is that a factor of 99? If you're not sure, take your calculator, take 99 and divide it by the one you're wondering about, 27. If you get a decimal, it is not a factor of 99. So I can cross that one off. 9 is a factor of 99 because 9 times 11 is 99. So I'm going to use 9 as my greatest common factor. Now I ask myself, 9 times what number would give me a negative 99? Well, a positive times a negative is a negative. So this number has to be negative. And 9 times negative 11 will give me a negative 99. 9 times what number gives me negative 27? Well, again, this is positive, so this has to be negative. 9 times 3, which is this factor right here, factor pair. So to check myself, 9 times negative 11p gives me negative 99p, and 9 times negative 3 gives me negative 27. That checks out. Number 3, 16 is less than 40, so I'm going to list my factors of 16. 1 times 16 is 16. 2 times 8 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16. 5 is not a factor of 16. 6 is not a factor of 16. 7 is not a factor of 16. And here I'm running up against my 8. So I've listed all the factors of 16. I'm going to start with my greatest factor and see if it is also a factor of 40. If I'm not sure, again, use your calculator. 40 divided by 16. Nope, I get a decimal. So that one is not a factor. Is 8 a factor of 40? Yes, because 8 times 5 is 40. So my greatest common factor that I'm going to use is 8. You'll notice here I have a plus sign. I have a variable. I'm going to bring it down. 8 times what gives me negative 16? Well, a positive times a negative is going to give me a negative answer. So 8 times what gives me negative 16? That would be negative 2. And 8 times what is going to give me 40? That would be 5. And that's right next to my y. So 8 times 5y is 40y. Check it out. 8 times negative 2 is negative 16. That works. 8 times 5 is 5y is negative 40y. I did this one on the other video, so I'm going to number 4. Which number is smaller? 18, because I'm ignoring that negative sign right now. So 1 times 18 is 18, 2 times 9 is 18, 3 times 6 is 18, 4 does not work, 5 does not work, and there I've bumped up to my 6 again. So I'm going to start with 18. Is 18 a factor of 21? No. Is 9 a factor of 21? No. Is 6 a factor of 21? No. Is 3 a factor of 21? Yes. 7 times 3 gives me 21. So my greatest common factor in this case is 3. I'm going to bring my plus sign down. I'm going to bring my y down. And then I'm going to start asking myself, 3 times what number gives me negative 21? That would be negative 7. 3 times what number gives me 18? That is 6. So now I'm going to check. 3 times negative 7y gives me negative 21y. 3 times 6 gives me 18. So that one is correct. 4b. 40 is the number I'm going to list my factors for. 1 times 40 is 40. 2 times 20 is 40. 3 does not work. 4 times 10. 5 times 8. 6 is not a factor of 40, and neither is 7. So now I'm going to check, starting with my greatest number, and see if it also is a factor of 50. Well, 40 is not a factor of 50. 20 is not a factor of 50, because if I skip count by 20, 20, 40, 60, I don't land on 50. So 10 is my greatest common factor. It's going to come out side of the parentheses. I'm going to bring down my variable so I don't forget about that. What number times 10 gives me 40? That would be 4. And 10 times what number gives me 50? That would be 5. 10 times 4n is 40n. 10 times 5 is 50. Number 5. I have a subtraction sign. Change that and change this to its opposite. So my smaller number is 12. So I'm going to list the factors of 12. 2 and 6, 3 and 4. 5 is not a factor of 12. And now I bumped up against 6, so I'm done. So now I'm going to start with my largest number and see if that's a factor of my other number. 15. No, that doesn't work. How about 6? No, 6 times anything does not give me 15. 4? No. 3? Yes. My factor, my greatest common factor is going to be 3. So I'm going to bring that plus sign down. And I'm going to bring that variable down, and I'm going to say 3 times what number gives me negative 15? Well, positive times a negative is a negative. So 3 times negative 15, or negative 5c is negative 15c. 3 times what is going to give me negative 12? Well, again, this is a positive, so positive times a negative gives me a negative. And that's going to be 4. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. 3 times negative 5c is negative 15c. 3 times negative 4 is negative 12. That one is done. I did this one in the previous video. I'm coming down to number 6. Change this subtraction to a plus. Change the sign on the number after it. Which number is smaller? 18. List the factors for 18. We have those right up here. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 18. 1, 2, 3, 6, 9, 18. Okay, so now I'm going to check and see if 18 is a factor of my other number, 27. It's not. 18 times 2 is 36. Is 9 a factor of the other number? Yes, it is, because 9 times 3 is 27. So I'm going to use 9. 9 is going to be my greatest common factor. I'm going to bring down that plus sign. I'm going to bring down that variable. And I'm going to start asking myself the question. 9 times what is going to give me a negative 18? Well, a positive times a negative is a negative. So 9 times negative 2 is going to be negative 18. Again, 9 times something is going to give me a negative 27, so that has to be negative. 9 times 3, negative 3s, is going to give me negative 27s. 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. 9 times negative 3s is negative 27s. 6. My smaller number is 77. I listed the factors of 77 up here. Starting with the largest one, it is not a factor of 121. And if I'm not sure, I key in 121 divided by 77, and I get this big long decimal, so that doesn't work. So I asked myself, is 11 a factor of 121? Again, if I don't know, 121 divided by 11, oh, it is. So I'm going to use 11 as my greatest common factor. I'm going to bring down my variable, and I'm going to ask myself, 11 times what gives me 121? Well, right here, 121 divided by 11 is 11. So going backwards, 11 times 11 is 121. 11 times what would give me 77? That would be 7. So checking it, 11 times 11 is 121. 11 times 7a is 77a. 47. 18 is less than 45, so 18, 1 times 18, 2 times 9, 3 times 6, and those are my factors. I may have done, oh yeah, I did that right above. So I'm going to ask myself, is 18 a factor of 45? If I'm unsure, 45 divided by 18, nope, I get a decimal. So that one doesn't work. Is 9 a factor of 45? Yes, it is. 9 times 5 is 45. So 9 is going to be my greatest common factor for this problem. I have a plus sign. I'm going to bring down my z. And now I'm going to start filling in what goes here and what goes here. 9 times what number gives me negative 45? That would be a negative 5. 9 times what number gives me a positive 18? That would be 2. So now I'm going to check myself. 9 times negative 5z is negative 45z, and 9 times positive 2 is 18. Last one. Going to list the factors for 36. I don't think we've had that one on our list. 1 times 36, there's a lot of these. 2 times 18, 3 times 12, 4 times 6, and I'm done. So now I'm going to look at 60 and ask myself, is 36 a factor of 60? No. Is 18 a factor of 60? Well, let's check it out. 60 divided by 18, no. Is 12 a factor of 60? 60 divided by 12, it is. 12 times 5 is 60. 5 times 12 is 60. So 12 is my greatest common factor here. Bring down my plus sign, bring down my variable. 12 times what gives me negative 60? Well, positive times a negative is a negative. So when I look back at my calculator, it's 12 times 5. So I'm going to put a 5 in there. And 12 times what gives me 36? Well, 12 times 3 was the one that gave me 36. And this is a positive, so that's a positive 3. 12 times negative 5d is negative 60d, and 12 times 3 is 36. And that is all.